Rich, you haven't had an iPod on you?
Small blind is on Tom Dwan,
Mine's dead.
asking for a spare iPod because he's run out of batteries. He's been at the table so long collecting everybody's money. The big blind on David Eldar.
Really?
And the action is on Andrew
Well, I would
Feldman.
have guessed it.
Gets out of the way. Round to the Enigma.
I'd just like to say it's nice to know that Smurfs are against nuclear weapons.
And the Enigma makes a raise to 1,600.
That is correct. Too much for Ziggy. And our Aussie jeweller has got a pair of ducks. Well worth seeing a cheap flop with.
Oh, he's going to let it go.
From the button. That is conservative play.
Round to Tom Dwan, who has King Queen offsuit, makes the call. So the Enigma versus Tom Dwan. This should get interesting. The flop. 9-7-3, 2 hearts.
Well, that's an up and down straight draw for the Enigma. Just the overcards for Tom Dwan.
Look at this.
True to form, he comes out betting 3,400.
Quickly called by the Enigma. Tom Dwan clearly trying to control the pot. The turn of 3 of clubs. Action will be on Durr once again.
Well, let's hope neither player.
Will Durr take another stab at it? And he does.
He makes it 9,200, and that blue face paint, which must have seemed like a very good idea this morning, now beginning to run a bit as the sweat and the tension get under the skin of the Enigma.
And he calls again. So we go to the river. And it is a king of clubs. So now Tom Dwan, who's been leading in this pot, spikes his king on the river. Must make him feel better now.
Only a bluff can win this for the Enigma. There's Tom Dwan to act first.
Looks like he's going to bet again, so Tom Dwan's read is correct. He bets again. He must believe he's ahead.
Yeah, he's been betting when he was pretty sure he was behind. Now that king spiked on the river has encouraged him to bet $23,600.
And look at this, the Enigma. He's counting chips.
This is going to be a bad spot to bluff, I'm afraid. His timing is out of whack. If he'd done it on the turn, he might well have got away with it.
Well, it would have to be a very convincing bet for Tom Dwan to not believe him.
Tom Dwan, as he proved in an earlier hand against Andrew Feldman, is in a calling mood.
It raises to approximately 70,000 there, so it's pretty committed. And he does call, so Grub, your instincts are right. It was a bad spot to bluff. The Enigma certainly trying to, you know, rough Tom Dwan out of the pot, but it didn't work.
And everything is going the way of Tom Dwan.
Oh, testament to this style of game. 170,000 in that pot. The Enigma loses quite a lot of money, but they're still smiling.
A lot more players in there when you have deuces. If you hit your set, you're getting better odds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, here's the flop.
3, 5,
8, 5, 3.
And a flush draw for Cyril Mooley.
It's a flush draw for Cyril Mooley. The best hand right now is Tom Dwan with a pair of 5s.
Let's play deuces equals aces. Deuces wild. Aces.
A lot of dead hearts out there. Cunningham with the ace of hearts. Feldman with the deuce of hearts. Pot is $9,400. And it's another big over bet here by Cyril Mooley.
Wow.
9 out of 10 hands I get double deuces.
13,000 into a $9,000 pot.
And actually, even though Tom Dwan currently has the best hand, Mooley with 2 overcards and a flush draw would normally, if there wasn't so many hearts dead, would be a favorite here.
Pass.
And he still is, even with the dead hearts.
Yeah, you saw the percentages there. Tom Dwan, 45% chance to win this pot. Mooley with 55%. We're going to see a turn. It's the queen, and that's exactly why. You pointed it out. Not only could Mooley catch a heart, but he catch a queen or a 9.
Well, Mooley could play this really tricky right now and check this now that he hit his hand.
Well, the interesting thing is if he continues to bet big, the only thing I was going to say, does Dwan continue to think maybe this guy's on hearts?
Yeah, I think if he bets too big, he's going to lose Tom Dwan. Tom Dwan's got second to the bottom pair. I mean, it's third pair to this board.
29.
29,000.
Wow.
Well, he bets another big pot.
How much more do you have, Cyril?
He asks how much you have left. And by the way, Tom Dwan is in terrible shape. He needs an ace or a 5. And by the way, the ace cannot be the ace of hearts.
That's what I was fixing to add.
Yeah.
No. Tom Dwan has got the money in good several times and hasn't gotten lucky. Now, if he gets his money in, it wouldn't be in a very good spot.
You have a black chip?
No, I didn't have black chips. You want I count how much I have?
No. 40 is close enough.
And Dwan getting a countdown here. I mean, this is intense. 29,000 from Mooley. Mooley is pot committed, by the way. He only started this pot with 71,000. It's just a question, does Dwan want to put them all in? And Dwan's all in.
All right, I call.
Mooley calls.
I have a 5.
And Dwan needs a 5 or an ace that's not a heart. He is in terrible shape. This pot is enormous. To the river. It's a 6 of diamonds. It's a blank. And Tom Dwan loses a $150,000 pot. Cyril Mooley plays it hard. He plays it fast. Wins himself a monster pot.
And Cyril Mooley guillotines Tom Dwan, or maybe Tom Dwan did it to himself since he's the one that put Cyril Mooley all in.
Well, I think Dwan put him on hearts. I mean, I really think he put him on a draw.
And he was correct until the turn. He did have a drawing hand, but unfortunately on the turn, he hit his queen.
I mean, I think if the heart comes, I think Tom Dwan gets away from that. It's the queen or the 9 that really killed him.
Absolutely.
Raise to 16.
Min raise, announces Luke Schwartz. That means he wants to double the big blind. Ace Jack, very nice hand for Romanello.
Re-raise to 3,600.
I bet Schwartz is going to call here.
Yeah, but he should really fold.
This is one of those situations where it's impressive to fold because most people cannot resist taking a look at the flop, and Schwartz can't resist it.
Yeah, and the momentum's all in Roberta's favour, so...
Schwartz has flopped a pair of 9s. Nothing Romanello could have done about that. He was correct to 3-bet pre-flop. Schwartz was probably wrong to call.
Bet 3,600.
Yep.
Call.
I think Romanello will switch off now if he doesn't improve, which he hasn't.
If he checks and Luke had an up and down straight like a 10-8 or a Jack-10, he still has the best hand. And the other hands that he's up against will be hands that have flopped a pair, like the hand he has, or King-Queen.
I'm surprised. It looks like Romanello's firing again. I didn't think he would, but he seems to be loading the cannon.
Bet 7,300.
About half the pot he's bet there.
What you got left?
The answer to that question won't make Schwartz as happy as it did a few rounds ago.
Alright, cool.
I think by now, Romanello must think he's behind. I mean, that's not really a blank, is it there?
I doubt Roberta's going to fire a bullet here because Luke can just have top pair here so often.
As it happens, if Romanello shoves here, Schwartz can't call.
He'll win the pot, yeah.
But, I mean, that's easy to say when you can see the cards.
Oh,
he's done
my
it. Oh,
God.
brilliant, brilliant.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've ever been owned so much in a heads-up match.
Schwartz cannot call this bet.
Oh, wow.
He cannot call this bet.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm calling so much.
Schwartz has to have exactly this hand for it to be correct. Because, of course, anyway, if he's got the queen, he's calling. If he's got some kind of misdraw, there's no need to make the bet because ace-jack is good. So he's got to put his opponent on exactly this, the 9 or the 7.
Yep.
Aces, kings, or ace-queen only.
Oh, this is going to work. I'm sure of it.
He always got it, though. It's such a... He could never... He just doesn't have it in his arsenal to just 3-bet 3-street bluff. That's just not in his... You can't do that. 3 hands I lose to only.
Oh, Schwartz can't bear it.
It's so nutted the way it's 3-bet and I folded to 1-4. It's tiny 3-bet. Did it again with a huge hand.
Roberto has slid the chair of pins over to Luke Schwartz in the sense that he's sitting uncomfortably. He doesn't like it.
Oh, God, man. Always just showing over kings, man. Like, I mean, he deserved it. He played decent, but...
I can see it's paining him.
Shit.
You know, like waving your lover goodbye at a railway station. He's finding it hard, but he's got to let that train go.
If I call you, you know what? Can I just flip over your cards? Because I don't want you to flip over like, there, I've got it. That's too tilting for me. So I'll call if you let me touch your cards and flip them over myself. I want to see it.
I would definitely reply to that. Okay, sure.
Too late.
This guy's not bluffy, man. This guy was just not bluffy. I've called him every time on the river. I've called him every time. He thinks I'm a huge station. He doesn't think I could ever fold a hand. He'd never bluff. Get so owned. Like, this guy is just not just barreling ace king of clubs. He's not even betting just ace king of clubs. He's not even c-betting that flop enough for me to call this. Should I beat? How do I beat? He doesn't do this with any hands. Why not even 3-bet ace jack of clubs pre-flop? Too nutty. Always 2 kings here, every time 2 kings.
The thing is with Luke Schwartz, he plays high-stakes heads-up cash games. He comes up against these kind of bets all the time.
For me to win, he has to say, good call, I was bluffing. There's no way he's going to just muck his hand and say that is there. It's the only way I can win if he says I was bluffing all in. I just want to call too much, though. I'm just too much of a fish. I make big folds all the time, man. It's too sick. Queen Jack, anyway. I even jam myself. So he might not even always push aces and kings here. So what does he think I can call with? He just thinks I'm a station and I call with my 9 that I've got. How can you just put me on only a 9 to call the turn, though? You can't have just put me on only a 9 to call the turn. You've got to put me on a queen.
Another reason why he might call here is that even if he calls and loses, he's still going to be on the final table.
Well, I think he's got a slight chip advantage. I think he'll get a handful of chips back and he will still make the final. But he can't call. I stick to my original position. He cannot call. Romanello 3-bet him. He bet the flop. He bet the turn. He shoved the river. Romanello is he's not a crazy, rash player. He's shown strong hands. He's got a solid history. Schwartz cannot deduce that this is no pair.
I want to fold so much.
You can see it inside him. He's in so much pain.
Some tiny thing's telling me that he's just trying to own me too hard. Oh, God, so tilt. I'm still so in it if I fold as well. It's such a bad call if I make it.
Oh, he's reaching for them.
Just don't. If you're good, all right. I won't touch your cards, but if you're good, don't flip it over arrogantly. Say unlucky. Don't flip it over like. Just in my eye, kings. No bluffs here, though.
What a character.
He's hilarious.
He would have called a clock if he was bluffing by now. Such a fish I am. 100 reasons to fold this and just like no good reasons to call, but I'm just too much of a fish. Ace queen, king queen. This guy's straight bluffing.
The line's so close. Oh, he's done it.
Oh,
he's done it. I don't believe it.
The thickness, he's made the call with just second pair.
Wow.
That's it.
Oh, wow,
He
that is it.
wins it. What an astonishing call. Brilliant, gutsy betting from Romanello. But the madness of full flush of Luke Schwartz as he just...